Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, remember, now that the year is coming to the end, also a lot of our legal seasons are coming to an end. Around the state, now there's going to be exceptions and every body of water might be a little different, but most of the waters, trout season in the streams ended October 15th. So no longer can we go to any of our streams in the area and legally fish trout. Bass season is going to end soon. Muskie season will end soon. The only type of sport fish that are still going to be available through the winter is walleyes and northern pike. Now, there's exceptions. There's some lake trout fishing that exists in some of the waters around the North Country. But as an average, those are the only two fish that we legally can fish for now. And of course, ice fishing is a whole new phenomenon that will begin soon. And even though you can only legally fish for northerns or walleyes, there's all the panfish that become the glory fish as we go into the late fall and into the winter. But there's something else that I wanted you to be aware of as the time is changing right now. You know, as we look at other animals and beings around us, fish or no, as we look at ourselves, as people get older, their habits change. They can't move as quickly. They might not eat the same. They might not eat at the same times. It's just harder. It's harder to stay alive as we get older. And it's the same thing with fish. As fish get older, they get bigger to a certain point. They keep getting bigger and bigger, and they're the fish that we want to catch. But we got to remember that those bigger fish, those older fish, are going to have totally different habits. They're not going to feed as often. They're not going to move as quickly as the smaller fish do. They still can move a lot quicker than we can imagine and quicker than any lure that we can reel in. But their habits change as they get bigger. They get less likely to survive stress, to survive disease. They're the first ones to die because they just aren't as strong as they once were when they were young. And it's important that we remember this when we go fishing. You know, the other thing that has really struck me is, and I want to share this with you because it's a couple of ponds that are around our area. One is, we call it Faubourg's Lake. It's because Faubourg's have a farm there at the end of this water. It's a backwater that flows under the Route 37. It forms this, it's almost as big as a lake. I mean, it's a big body of water, and there's very little access. You can't put a big boat in there. So it's had some wonderful fishing. But a year ago, my buddy Rust and I went in there, and we caught some fabulous big northern pike. It was some of the best northern pike we'd ever had in our life fishing. This year, we've gone back to the same areas using the same lures, and we haven't had near the results. Now, has it because of COVID and because more people are now going in kayaks and fishing a body of water? We have to remember that the population of big fish in any given body of water, and I'm including the St. Lawrence River with all the big smallmouth that people have come from all over the country to catch, that number of fish is limited. There aren't nearly as many big fish as there are little newborn fish that have yet to go through all the different challenges and the ways of life to narrow their numbers as they get older. Those fish that survive are much fewer in number. And as they get older, not only are they fewer in number, but they are less likely to behave in the same way that the smaller fish do. We can go out some days and we can catch a lot of fish, but they'll all be small. But those big fish, number one, are fewer and farther between, and number two, they have different habits, and they might be a lot more difficult to catch. And I think we've all found that out. That's why that big fish has become a fish of legends, has become a fish of exaggeration, and is still probably the center of most people's fishing dreams. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.